All right, guys, we're going to do a quick one today. Thank you guys who have joined Google Classroom. For those of you see buddies on there who haven't and you have a way to get in contact with them, please do so. And this is going to be for Wednesday. I believe it's going to be April 8th. It'll be the second week of coronavirus homeschool here. I hope you all are doing well, and I hope this works. If you guys are struggling, with internet or something, let me know. I'm going to be really generous. But I do want you guys, if anything, to use this time to do the makeup work. So I think the grade cutoff for the third quarter is going to be the 13th. So if you go through and see you're missing something and you don't have it and need a copy, please get that. Let me know and I will get one to you so we can all end the third quarter really strong as we're all trying to figure out how to make it through this coronavirus nonsense. Again, hope you're all safe. If you need anything, let me know. So we've been talking about the Industrial Revolution and how it changed things. And this is what I wanted to show you, how it's going to change things. So this map here looks all kind of smudged and stretched out. Is going to show how wealth was distributed in the year 1900. Who was rich and who was poor. So you see Western Europe is really big, Eastern Europe is very small. Africa, looks like my neighbor's mowing his grass, it's freezing today. Africa is very small. South America is almost non-existent. And so you get to see what happens, like how big Japan is about to become. It changes the mindset of everything. And here's this guy named Adam Smith. And he will write a book called The Wealth of Nations in 1776. And in it he talks about this French term known as Laissez Faire. It means let it be, hands off, no controls. And what he begins to say is that this is the economic policy that business owners should not be interfered with by the government. Owners of industry and business should be able to set their work hours, their working conditions, the amount of money that they pay to their employees without any governmental interference. This is what needs to happen. And Smith says that it is a free market society. It's best for everyone. And what he says is that the ideas are what he calls the three natural laws of economics. And what Adam Smith said was stupid was the institution of slavery. He's like, you guys have got to get rid of that. In slavery, all of your capital, your resources and your money are tied up in slaves. You've got to house the slave. You've got to feed the slave. You've got to police the slave. And you have an agricultural product. Well, if there's a famine or a flood or people don't need your product, what money do you have stored up? All right? You don't have anything to fall back on. Where a factory and a factory owner has capital. They have cash money, not a bale of tobacco or cotton sitting on a dock somewhere in Charleston. And so to Adam Smith is in capitalism, everybody starts in the same place. We're all on the starting line at the same time. We're going to go the same distance. And what he says is the law of self-interest, all right, where people work for their own good. Now, I'm going to keep this one short today because I forgot one of my little props, all right? So the law of self-interest, people work for their own good. If I work harder, if I come up with a new idea, I benefit from it. If Calvin here charges $15 for a glass of lemonade, nobody is going to buy it, all right? So I'm going to work harder. I'm going to find a way to make a better product, cheaper, a better product, faster, and people are going to buy it. I get rewarded for my ingenuity. So rule number one is self-interest. People want to work to better themselves. Number two is competition. All right? If there's only one place to get something, that hurts the consumer. So for Domino's, there's Papa John's. For McDonald's, there's Burger King and Wendy's. For Bojangles, there's Chick-fil-A. For Ford, there's GM. Competition for our business makes a company give us a better product at a cheaper price. Right? We benefit from this. We want competition. And last but not least is the law of supply and demand. Enough goods are going to be produced at the lowest possible price to meet supply and demand. So companies are going to make a supply, like Calvin's lemonade. And if they charge $15 for it, nobody's going to buy it. So they're going to lower the price, right? $12, $10, $8, $5, and then $1. Somewhere, all of a sudden, people are going to believe that that product is worth a certain amount of money. That is where supply meets demand. If enough people want it, a business will provide it, and then they will figure out how much people are willing to pay for it. The business will make a profit for themselves. They can pay the mortgage on their factory. They can pay their employees and still make money themselves. An example will be this Baby Yoda thing, which became big when Disney Plus came out. There's a little tiny little Baby Yoda, and everybody in the world wanted Baby Yodas for Christmas, but there weren't any. And so now, here in the springtime, corporations have gone crazy building Baby Yodas. They know people want them, and they'll charge $10, $12, and every little kid, maybe for Easter or whatever holiday, is going to have a little Baby Yoda, and the company will make money. But it is going to be the price of the product, the supply, and how much people are willing to pay for them. And so that is supply and demand. The government doesn't interfere. We let this happen naturally. And so laissez-faire capitalism is an economic system where the factors of production are privately owned. You own your own business. You're one of the guys on Shark Tank. I may send a link out to this about the Scrub Daddy. That is my prop, all right? It's an economic system where you get to own your business, your idea. The people have the right to make as much money. They control the capital, the labor, and the land without the government getting involved and telling them what to do. However, some guys like David Ricardo said that capitalism would create a permanent underclass. In capitalism, there's always going to be people who are poor. Right? If you have a lot of people and a lot of resources, labor is going to be exploited. Labor is going to be cheap because you can always find somebody to work for less pay and a little bit worse conditions. But if you've got only a few workers and few resources, then labor is going to be expensive. Like being a brain surgeon or a heart surgeon, you've got to be extremely bright to not only go through medical school, but have the dexterity to operate on somebody without killing them. To be a pilot of a passenger airline is highly skilled. Not every knucklehead can get up there and do it. So the harder the job, the more skills it takes, the fewer people can do it. That's why they get paid a lot of money. So think about that wisely when choosing your jobs. Many laissez-faire thinkers believed that the government should not help the poor. You know what? If you're poor, there's jobs out there. Go and find them. You don't need a minimum wage or you don't need minimum working hours because that would interfere with the production of wealth. That would help the business owner, not the worker. And so there's got to be some protections for the worker. You can't pay them nothing. You can't make people work 16 hours a day. There's got to be some government regulation. And at the turn of the century, before refrigeration was big, the way people preserved food, they did it in formaldehyde, or they kind of hid it and it was full of bacteria. shellfish, meat, and people were dying, and so the government had to step in to regulate the food industry. You can't sell rotten meat to people in the streets. So anyway, again, supply and demand, and so the federal minimum wage was instituted back in 1938 when it was 25 cents. When I started working for $2.35 was my minimum wage, and I think it's like $7.50 or $7.35 or something like that now. But the idea is that the little fish, all right, the small mom and pop company is always going to get eaten by the giant large one. This is a super Walmart and a super Target, and this used to be the local hardware store or the local grocery store or the local auto mechanic, because big business can just run steamroller over everything. So tomorrow we are going to talk about socialism and this guy Karl Marx and how he thought of the opposite idea of capitalism. So today is a quick one, another quick one tomorrow, and we'll be done for the week, and maybe we can Google Meet or Google Chat. All right, guys, I hope to see you soon.